This is No Pockets, my farmer who only has one inventory slot. I'm going to transform this humble start into a thriving farm, reach Ginger Island, and max out all my skills within my first year, all without being able to hold more than a single item, preventing me from using furnaces, constructing most buildings, or even upgrading my tools. I'm going to have to reinvent how to play Stardew Valley to figure out how to not just survive, but thrive under this ridiculous constraint. Let's kick off the first day of spring and get started. The mod I'm playing is called Single Inventory Slot Challenge, which gives one inventory slot per hotbar, allowing you to upgrade your backpack to earn a second and third inventory slot. I will not be purchasing the backpack. We're doing this with just one slot. This is already a huge problem. I can chop wood with my starting axe, but I can't even pick up the wood and craft a chest, because tools like the axe can't be thrown onto the ground or trashed. To make the challenge possible, the mod creator allows you to delete your tools by dragging them into the void. Now I can pick up wood and craft my first chest, which means I can now simply store my tools and I won't need to banish them into the Shadow Realm. Don't worry about my axe. Any lost tools, including the pickaxe, hoe, scythe, and watering can I don't have, will all be made available tomorrow in the Lost and Found box in the Mayor's house. The Lost and Found does exist in a normal playthrough of Stardew Valley, if you somehow manage to permanently lose one of your tools, but I didn't know it was a feature until just now. Since voiding out a tool means it's gone for the day, I generally want to avoid doing that whenever possible. I couldn't do much today. I have no stamina left, but even if I ate some food for energy, I don't have any tools to do more work with. I stored a couple things in my box and decided to take an early sleep. Day 2. Lewis let me know he's holding on to all my tools. On my way into town to pick those up, I noticed a quest on the bulletin board I wanted to complete. Item delivery quests grant friendship points on completion, and I really want to befriend Clint, as he has a chance to mail you metal bars occasionally if he likes you. This is one of very few ways for me to get metal bars for crafting, because I can't use a furnace without both coal and ore in my inventory at the same time, which I can't do, because I don't have any pockets. Accomplishing basically any task with one inventory slot really bleeds the hours out of your day. Simply retrieving my tools from the Lost and Found and bringing them home required me to make 5 trips back and forth between the farm and back to town. That being said, now that I have tools, I can start getting the place cleaned up a bit and make room for farming. I'll have to run around several times if I want to pick up all this stuff laying on the ground. Items on the ground don't vanish overnight or anything, but they will go away for good as soon as you close the game or go back to the title screen. It basically took all day to get my tools, clean up the place, and plant a starting garden of 15 parsnips, and I worked late into the night just to pick up all the debris laying around from a day's work. Day 3. I'd like to figure out a good method for fishing. It sounds like a wash, since my one and only inventory slot will be occupied by my fishing rod, but I've got an idea. First, I'll craft another chest and deposit it on top of my planned fishing spot, then run down to go pick up my first rod and bring it back to the chest. If you catch a fish on a full inventory, the game asks you to choose which items to keep, trash, or drop. As long as I'm facing left or right, the items I drop will land at my feet, instead of in the water. Don't try this while facing down. If you do, take several steps back. After depositing the dropped items one by one, I realized I was being silly and could simply accumulate a pile of dropped items at my feet and store everything all at once, since items on the ground will fill into any open inventory slots automatically, even if you're otherwise got the game timer paused by opening a chest or your inventory. This means I can fish basically like normal, as long as I have a chest on hand and I don't move from this spot, since I need the dropped items to be close to the chest or it's really annoying to gather them up and put them away, so I don't recommend chasing bubbles. By nightfall I was able to fish up a pretty large haul of fish and loot from treasure chests. This looks really promising, except if I want to move any of these items to use or sell them, I'm going to have to do that one by one, which is slow. I'll bring home these 2 emeralds. Clint loves gemstones and fishing will be a good source of gifts to max out his friendship. Speaking of gift ideas, this video is sponsored by REDMAGIC. This is an early look at their brand new gaming tablet, the REDMAGIC Astra 2. The Astra 2 is light and portable, and feels great to hold for extended periods of time while gaming. My hands are fairly small, so I felt like this tablet is the perfect size for me. Plus, the hardware is powerful enough to handle 3D open-world games you normally run on a desktop computer, which look beautiful on the high-resolution screen. The image quality is much better than my current phone. It's even got a liquid cooling system on the back to keep everything running smoothly. I'm going on a trip this summer, and I'm looking forward to bringing my Astra 2 with me to keep me entertained in the airport while my gaming PC sits at home. Because the Astra 2 is so thin and portable, I can easily fit it in with the rest of my stuff. The Astra 2 goes on sale later this summer, so don't miss your chance to pick one up. Check out that link in the description for more information, and keep an eye on that upcoming launch. Day 4. So let's talk about how bad things really are. Fishing is gonna be fine, but what about the other skills? I'll never be able to upgrade my tools and I can't make metal bars for crafting sprinklers, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of farming by hand to reach level 10, but that's not nearly as difficult as foraging. The unupgraded axe sucks so bad. It takes 15 swings to down a tree and clear the stump. In comparison, an iridium axe gets the job done in 3. It takes over 900 trees worth of experience to reach level 10 foraging. I need to swing my axe well over 10,000 times. Even picking up items out in the wild isn't easy, since I need to make room to pick them up in the first place. I gave Clint an emerald, the first of many gifts coming his way, and I settled in to spend the rest of my day fishing, since it's one of few ways for me to reliably earn some starting cash, and the occasional treasure chest is going to be a really good source of gemstones, ore, and geodes, as I won't exactly be able to leave the mines with loot in hand if I'm using my only inventory slot on my pickaxe. I've got a lot of fish stored up. I'll go ahead and take home one of the stacks, but I'm not going to sell it until tomorrow because I reached level 5 fishing today, earning the fisher profession for better sales. Day 5. I have a couple chores to do. I still need wood to place chests everywhere, Clint needs an emerald, and I need to unlock the community center. I can't really do the community center because some of the bundles are unreasonable. The entire animal bundle means building a barn and a coop, either of which are impossible because you need both stone and wood in your inventory to order a building, which is never going to happen. The traveling cart could eventually provide the items you need, but I'm playing on a random seed here, so statistically I'm cooked. That being said, I will complete one of the easy bundles for a reward before swapping to Jojamart down the line. I'm going to try mining today, which is kind of a disaster on one inventory slot. I can't bring food, so if I run out of energy too quickly, I just have to leave. I also can't pick up literally anything without voiding out my pickaxe for the day. I can't mine the ore then come back later to pick it up, since leaving a floor and coming back will reset it and load in a new floor without your stuff on the ground. After progressing 5 floors and leaving all the ore on the ground, abandoned, I ran down to my fishing chest to find some food so I could keep going. I tried to progress 5 more floors, but I literally couldn't find the staircases quickly enough before running out of energy, and it's not like I can bring food. So I had to leave having made no progress and with no loot to my name. This is a fun time to mention that I can never upgrade my pickaxe, so I might be able to mine down the floor 40 or so, but once the rocks toughen up, it's over. I sold some carp today, making myself a few coins of pocket money to do something with. Day 6. My parsnips are in, which is enough to get to level 1 farming, which means I'll unlock the ability to craft a scarecrow and safely expand the farming operation. But wait, how am I supposed to craft items that require multiple components? Am I totally screwed? There is a solution actually, but I'll need more money. If I hop by the wizard real quick to unlock the community center, I can complete a bundle for a little bonus cash, since the spring foraging bundle is notoriously easy even if you have to make a few trips to bring the items in. While running those items, I popped into Robin's shop to grab a solution to the crafting problem, the workbench. As long as I can get my hands on the components, I can use a bench to craft whatever I want at home without worrying about inventory space. I don't have the scarecrow recipe on hand yet, but you can see here that it'll let me craft things that call for several items. Anyway, I need money to buy seeds, so let me deliver that last item to the community center and take my reward, spring seeds. I'm not actually planting these, they give pretty terrible experience, but I will sell them for a nice 1,000 gold. I want to buy a bunch of potato seeds, so I'll sell some parsnips as well and blow my cash on what I can afford, which really isn't much. That workbench basically bankrupted me, but I can't live without it. Crows start threatening your crops if you plant more than 15 seeds, but it's only a problem once the seeds have had time to sprout, so it's okay to plant today and stick a scarecrow down tomorrow. I've diligently gathered a lot of wood and I'm wondering what to do with it. I usually repair the bridge to the tide pools early on because I can get materials there for crafting a bait maker. But given that requires 3 iron bars, I'm not gonna get that for a very long time. I could earn some money and foraging experience from the coral and such, since it's not too far from Willie's shop. Speaking of his shop, it occurs to me that fishing right by his doorstep into a chest would make it a million times easier to offload my catch, but I didn't consider it until now since the spring ocean fish tend to be extremely low value. I'll bookmark that idea for summer. Day 7. I really need to upgrade my fishing rod so I can use bait, which means I need to scrape up some more money. I got a quest to fish largemouth bass, which I was going to do anyway, and I'll run some bullheads down the Willy for cash, on top of a couple bits of forage I gathered yesterday, putting together enough money to buy a fiberglass rod and a nice pile of bait to get me started. I had to get more wood to craft a scarecrow and another chest. Now that I have another chest, since it's raining, I'll try my hand at fishing catfish. They're really valuable, but kind of hard at a low level. I also need to stand quite a bit away from shore to safely face downwards without dunking my dropped items into the river, so I'm gonna catch lower quality fish in the shallow water. I wonder if I can pull off a diagonal fishing angle so I can face to the left. I think I can, actually, but my chest is in the wrong location for that, so I'll have to try that another time. I had pretty terrible luck finding catfish today, but I did get a huge pile of gemstones to gift to Clint, so I really can't complain about the day's catch. Day 8. I already got a metal bar in the mail from Clint, which is crazy lucky since the chance scales up as you build friendship, and I'm sitting pretty at 1 out of 10 hearts. That being said, getting a copper bar won't make much of a difference, since I can't upgrade tools anyway, and I'm only really interested in iron bars right now. It's raining again, so I'm going to keep fishing, but I noticed a ton of dig spots around town and took a detour to try and find my first artifact. This is more important than you'd think. There are 20 artifacts that can be found in fishing treasure chests, but you're not allowed to get any of them until you find your first artifact somewhere else. So why do I care about artifacts? Welcome to another one of my long-term goals. I'm going to donate 60 items to the museum, one at a time, and gathering those minerals and artifacts without any pockets is gonna suck. So what insane reason has possessed me to do this? I'd like to overcome the odds and find a way to build a flourishing farm despite my restrictions, and that means I'll take any route towards obtaining a steady supply of sprinklers for the farm. Sprinklers are extremely difficult for me to craft by hand, since they call for metal bars I can't make. However, Krobus sells 1 iridium sprinkler every week, but you can't go down to the sewers until you get the rusty key, a gift for donating 60 items to the museum. So if I ever want to be free from hand watering my crops all year with an unupgraded watering can, this is one of the only ways I can progress towards a normal farm with sprinklers. Since I spent all day fishing, it didn't take long to find an artifact. I actually got a dinosaur egg as my first one, which is mildly funny as some people go insane trying to find one of these. I found another one an hour later. It's always the person who doesn't need it who gets lucky, I guess. I'm never going to have a coop, I'm not doing the missing bundle, I don't need the ship one for the collection log, I only wanted 1 egg. Well, I'll go donate one of them. The fishing spot I'm camping is working really well, since facing to the left drops the items down to my feet and not into the drink. I can't quite cast my rod far enough to hit the deepest possible water for high quality fish, but that'll change when I hit level 8 fishing. I'm only level 6 for now. I made a couple thousand gold selling a few catfish, but I really wish I had a bait maker to get more catfish. Day 9. I'm thinking of starting a long-term project to clean up the farm and free up all the open space. My main motivation is the rather intimidating goal of level 10 foraging, mostly leveled up by chopping trees, so most of my farm will serve as a giant tree farm. If I can clean up all the weeds, rocks, and branches off of the ground, it'll make room for my current trees to drop seeds into the surrounding space and grow me a bunch of new trees automatically. The reason I'm so concerned about foraging is that you can get a lot of foraging experience by breaking down large stumps and logs, which I'll never be able to do with my unupgraded axe. So I really need to focus on what I can do. And since my axe sucks, I really need to work on foraging over a long period of time. If I put it off, I'll never get it done this year. Cleaning up the farm takes forever though, since I can only hold 1 tool at a time and need to run around like a little Roomba to pick up the stuff afterwards. I earned some skill levels today, but foraging still feels quite distant. Day 10. I continued my farm cleanup, doing rocks this time, until I ran out of stamina. I've always got fish to eat, so it makes sense to transition to fishing for the rest of the day, which I did after restocking on bait. I'm kind of just donating artifacts on the fly as I get them, but my museum collection is still quite modest, and it takes forever to run there and back for one item at a time. It's also super annoying to sell my fish one stack at a time, particularly since they've got varying quality levels. Day 11. One of the very few ways for me to obtain sprinklers for the farm can come as an occasional reward for submitting prize tickets earned by doing random quests. Every third bulletin board quest grants a ticket on completion, so I'll do the easy ones and see if I ever get anything worthwhile. The first reward is 12 carrot seeds, which isn't exciting, and the upcoming rewards aren't very interesting. After donating another item to the museum, I picked up a reward of cauliflower seeds. Between those and the carrots, I'm definitely thinking about expanding my farming operation. It's still a modest little garden, but it's a start, and I need to keep up with the farming if I'll ever reach level 10 without the help of upgraded tools or sprinklers. I spent a lot of time today just moving fish around, both to sell and to keep some snacks at home. It's easy to quickly store a ton of items while fishing, but it takes forever to do anything with the stuff I gathered. At least I made some money to spend on seeds tomorrow. Day 12. Potato harvest. Even the act of harvesting crops requires multiple trips for the different quality levels, which is pretty annoying and will only get worse as my farming level goes up and makes high quality crops more common. I sometimes pop by the beach for pocket money and scraps of foraging experience. All these items really make me yearn for the ability to craft a bait maker, but I don't have any iron bars. It would be so much more convenient to catch one type of fish when it comes time to sell my catch. I'm going to buy a bunch of kale seeds. They grant really good farming experience per plant given the reasonably fast growth time. And since harvesting by hand is a little annoying for me, I really wouldn't mind growing a crop I can harvest using the scythe. When I chop trees, I'm interested in keeping the wood for crafting, sap for fertilizer, and tree seeds for replanting, but I can't carry that all. I'm testing a new method. I'll bring a chest to a cluster of trees, fill it up with stuff, then I can just bonk it back to my main storage chest to easily transfer all the items. I hit level 2 farming today. I also made what to me feels like a lot of money right now. I'll spend those on more seeds. Day 13. I'm working on a larger expansion to my farm, digging up a bunch of new soil and getting everything watered. This is because I'm attending the Egg Festival to buy some strawberry seeds. Despite being a regrowth crop, they're still worth planting halfway through the season, since most spring crops are underwhelming in comparison to the profit and experience gains of the humble strawberry. Keeping up with all these crops with no tool upgrades and no sprinklers is going to take a lot of time and energy. Day 14. The carrots are in, and I'll just plant more strawberries in their place, while reserving those carrots as snacks since they restore a ton of energy for some reason. Rainy day means I had better go fishing. Once I hit level 8 fishing, a breakpoint that upgrades how far you cast out your rod, I notably started getting high quality fish consistently from my awkward fishing spot. It's hard to envision why that is, but if I bring up a water depth chart, you can see I'm hitting a single tile of deep water that's barely in reach. I've got some good loot in my chest, including a diamond and 3 artifacts to donate. I'll have to do a museum run soon. The gold star catfish alone sold for a nice chunk of money, and I caught tons of other fish to sell as well. Day 15. Today is a good luck day, and I'm well stocked on energy restoring food, so I should probably give the mines another shot after my morning chores. I've been completely ignoring the mines since it's difficult to make progress and I can't really bring any ore out of the mines nor smelt it into bars. But one of my major goals means finding a way to reach level 10 in all skills, despite my 1 inventory slot, so I need to find solutions for mining and combat, and I'm certainly never going to make any headway without digging deeper in the mines where I can find higher experience monsters, ore, and gemstones. Things look good this time around. I started blasting through the floors of energy to spare, but got walled by an infested floor, 1 floor before a checkpoint. I can't fight off a dozen monsters with just a pickaxe. I'll have to leave without making any progress today. I spent the time running around to set up a convenient chest by the mine's elevator to hold a pickaxe, any weapons I find, and some food. Maybe it'll go better next time. Day 16. Demetrius is offering me the cave upgrade, and I'm going to go mushrooms. I don't exactly need random fruit for the community center, and the frequent mushrooms are worth more foraging experience and make good early game snacks for broke farmers who just bottomed out on energy hand watering 100 crops with a leaky watering can. I ran a bunch of artifacts to the museum, but I'll need to start opening geodes to get more of these. I can only open geodes one at a time, so I'll need to store stacks of geodes inside of Clint's shop. Thankfully, I can get geodes from fishing treasure, so I'm not too worried about the challenges involved in mining. Got a mildly rare drop from fishing today, although I'd be happier if any of the other experience books since fishing is the only skill that's easy for me to level up. Day 17. Iron bar in the mail. This is why I'm befriending Clint. Maybe I'll have a bait maker by like day 50. Today has good daily luck, so I'll throw myself at the mines again. It actually worked out this time. I made it down to floor 10, then to floor 15, and I went back in to try for floor 20. Getting chased by flies is terrifying, because I can't defend myself, heal my health, or outrun them. I just have to pray I find a ladder soon. Things got really dicey on floor 19, with 2 flies out for blood while I tried to desperately swat them away with the pickaxe, which is much harder than using a sword. I barely got to the ladder with 2 hit points remaining. I'll take it. If the mines are already this dangerous, I don't know how I'm going to reach floor 120. I had a nice stroke of luck overnight. A crop berry swung by my strawberry patch and hit 15 of them. Nice. I also gained some skill levels today, level 4 foraging, and level 2 mining. Day 18. Pretty big harvest today, between the kale and my accelerated batch of berries. I bought some more kale seeds and replanted them before heading back to the mines where I had some success, making progress towards floor 25, but I got stalled out on floor 29 because I couldn't find a ladder and I was getting harassed by a fly the entire time. It's frustrating to leave the mines over and over just inches before hitting a new checkpoint. Earned multiple farming levels today, going up to level 4, and the day's harvest was worth a good chunk of gold. I don't feel totally broke anymore. Day 19. Today was my 3rd back-to-back good luck day, so I'll just keep making attempts at the mines. Making it down to floor 30 was a huge relief. 30 of the 40 has different enemies, and rock golems are extremely easy to avoid by simply walking away. I didn't feel threatened down here at all, so it was pretty simple to make it all the way to floor 40. Going past floor 40 isn't happening. Up until now I could break most rocks with one swing of my pickaxe, but it'll take 3 swings per rock going forwards. I just don't have the stamina to reliably make progress, and I can't bring in food with me since I have to hold my pickaxe instead. I don't think I'm getting any further until I can make a bunch of cherry bombs to replace my pickaxe when mining, but that's really expensive for me right now. The mines are indefinitely on hold until I'm much more established in terms of money and resources. I went fishing after my mining trip and hit level 9 fishing today. Day 20. I'm going to transport a bunch of geodes to Clint's for opening. I've got a few saved up from fishing and from the rocks on the farm. I need to open them one at a time, but I got a nice pile of minerals to donate to the museum. I ran out of time to donate them before Clint closed shop though. I found some really nice treasure today, the Neptune's Glaive, which is far better than any weapon I can currently get my hands on, which will be useful if I pick up monster slaying quests on the town bulletin board. Day 21. Some of the other strawberries are starting to grow in. I donated the minerals I ran out of time for yesterday, but I'm still a long way off my goal of 60 donations. On my way back to the farm I noticed a quest I can do, so I'll keep trying for prize tickets and see if they ever cough up something useful like quality sprinklers. My luck was pretty terrible though, since I barely found any anchovies in hours and hours of fishing. Hit level 5 farming today, which is nice. Day 22. I'm going back to finish up the anchovy quest that evaded me. I don't know if prize tickets are looking promising. Back on the farm, my quest to clear out the farm is still chugging along slowly, but I'm starting to hit the left edge of the map, so I am getting somewhere. So, the prize ticket thing hasn't been a total waste of time because I unlocked mystery boxes 28 days early. These things show up either on day 50 or after collecting 2 prize tickets. Day 23. I've been saving up money for some time now, and none of the usual early game purchases like tool upgrades and backpacks apply to me. I can't buy any of them. So I'm going to invest my money into crafting preserves jars, which will help crank up the income I get from farming. The biggest cost of making them is 8 coal per jar, so I'll buy some of that. I also need to buy some stone for making jars, but Robin was away at exercise class today, so I did the trick where you hang out by the cash register and click on it when she returns home and passes by. I've only made 9 jars so far. It's costing me around 2,000 gold per jar, but they'll pay themselves off and then some in time, particularly when I grow higher value crops in summer like melons. Day 24 means another kale harvest, but I don't have enough days left in spring to grow anything besides parsnips, which I'll go ahead and plant because I don't want to fall behind on the long-term grind for level 10 farming. I'm also tired of how plain my farm looks, so I'll toss some basic wooden paths down for a bit of visual interest. I later decided I'm tired of how messy the overgrown section of the farm is, so I'm still busy taming that beast. Big sales today, a combination of kale, berries, and fish. 10k is a lot of money for me. Day 25 was a fishing day, and I got some good loot. I needed more gemstones to gift the Clint, but I also found myself an ancient seed. Those are always great to find in spring. Ancient fruits take a very long time to grow, and the earlier you start, the better. I'm also kind of surprised that I haven't hit level 10 fishing yet. Day 26. A very special item is in stock at the traveling cart. My very first sprinkler. I can't really make these unless Clint mails me a ton of metal, so this feels special. I'm going to plant my new ancient seed next to my new sprinkler. Otherwise, I spent the rest of the day working on foraging, which got me to level 5. I'll take the gatherer profession because hitting double harvest when foraging grants double experience. Day 27. Most of the day was spent fishing. I do this a lot, not just to make a bit of money, but I'm really after items like coal, geodes, gemstones, and artifacts I can't easily get otherwise through normal methods like mining or combat. It's so convenient to have a default activity to get items that I can do while stationary on top of a chest. And I wanted level 10 fishing because that gives me the chance to take the pirate profession. Normally I go angler for the cash, but since most of my museum donations will come from geodes and artifacts found fishing, I'd really love to get double loot. I think it'll make a big difference for me. Day 28. Well, spring's almost over. I've gotten used to the whole one inventory slot thing. Don't get me wrong, it's utterly crippling, and slowing me down like a boulder's tied to my ankle, but it's kind of zen after you do it for a while. Various things on the schedule today. Got a monster hunting quest, and I wanted to try the Neptune's Glaive, which made quick work of any dust sprites I could find on floor 41. Since I'm holding a lot of cash, I'd like to start making some tangible progress around here, so I'm going to purchase myself a JoJo membership so I can start saving up for some nice upgrades like minecart travel and the quarry, so I can actually mine and keep the stuff. As a reminder, the community center is a lost cause, since I can't really get animal products because I can never build a barn or coop, so I've got no qualms of abandoning the community center I can't actually complete this year. Found a cheap bomb in the traveling cart. I'll take it. I was out here anyway to turn in my monster hunting quest to the wizard. Let's do an overview of my progress so far since it's the end of spring. I've only earned 75k lifetime, which is, let's say, quite low compared to my usual rate of progression. Skill levels are chugging along, fishing's done, farming's okay, and it's looking rough everywhere else. Since it takes more experience to earn each successive level, I'm not really halfway done with foraging. It's more like 1/6 of the way done. I'm kind of intimidated with the task of finishing foraging with the worst possible axe, and mining and combat are frankly a disaster, and it's not going to get better unless something changes, so I'll try to unlock the quarry and start investing in explosives to get something done. Summer 1. I need to get the farm all cleaned up and prepared for new crops. I'm planning to plant blueberries and melons. Melons are really valuable when jarred, but I don't have infinite jars, so I'll plant a bunch of blueberries as well, which are more ideal for selling outright without processing. I've got plenty of cash left over after buying seeds, so I'm going to start working on JoJo unlocks, starting with the bridge to the mountain quarry, where I can actually set down a chest while mining and keep all the ore and coal, unlike the mines where it gets left behind. During summer, I'm going to favor fishing in the ocean. There's lots of valuable fish here during summer, but more importantly, I'm right next to Willie's shop, so it'll be trivial to sell my fish without taking a long walk back to the shipping bin. To further simplify the logistics here, as I learned my lesson during spring, if I fish at night, there are only 2 possible fish I can catch, halibut and super cucumbers. Super cucumbers are much rarer than halibut, but they're worth so much money I think it's worth it. Well, usually worth it. I had god-awful luck. In 20 catches I got 1 cucumber. Whatever, man. Summer 2. I ran into a convenient mining quest which I can do in the quarry, but man, I'd really like to unlock the minecarts as well for direct access. fast travel is good enough under normal circumstances, but when you only have one inventory slot and need to make several trips to move your items around, being able to teleport right to the quarry and back will save a lot of time. Plus, it'll be really helpful for going to Clint's shop and the museum. So to afford the minecarts, I'm going to run around scraping together some cash out of stuff I have sitting around in boxes I haven't sold yet. It took most of my day and was questionably worth the time, but I can afford to purchase the minecarts with the day's sales. Summer 3. I'm gonna set down a chest in the quarry which is full of stuff to mine. I'll stop by JojaMart to make a purchase. I won't have these minecarts unlocked until tomorrow, but I'll start digging today since I've got a quest to mine copper. All of these coal nodes are really useful. I'll recycle that coal into explosives or preserves jars. I also got one of those rare mystic nodes that drops iridium, and the occasional prismatic shard. And I got lucky enough to find one. That's really good news because it's quite difficult for me to get these otherwise, and I could trade it in for a galaxy sword once I unlock access to the desert. I'm still working through prize tickets and feeling very underwhelmed. 10 mixed seeds is kind of a nothing reward. I then put in a few evening hours fishing, and found 0 super cucumbers. I guess I'm paying for that good luck I had getting a prismatic shard, because my fishing luck has been abysmal. Earned a mining level, but it still feels like I've gotten nowhere. Summer 4. Time to try out these new minecarts and clear out the rest of the quarry. I've got exactly 1 bomb, so I'll use it. I'm really looking forward to raising my mining to 6 so I can make more of those. I can make cherry bombs, but they're much worse. I could theoretically use the quarry mine for ore and combat experience, as you can leave the area and come back to pick up any dropped ore, but ore rocks are really sparse in here, and you really need a weapon to defend yourself. It's a lot of effort for low reward to run back and forth to swap between a sword and pickaxe whenever the rocks or an enemy block my path. I dug out the rest of the quarry by hand and stored all the stuff in the chest. This place is a pretty decent source of coal. Usually I just buy coal from Clint, but money's hard to come by for me. I finally started to find super cucumbers when fishing, and even better, the pirate profession paid off in a big way when I reeled up a treasure chest worth a fat 5k gold. I hit level 4 mining today, and I cashed in that treasure chest for a lot of money. Summer 5. The quarry is also known for spawning in trees, and I'll take in whatever scraps of foraging experience I can get, since that's a long grind and it's convenient to chop in an area with a chest as I'm also collecting tree seeds for replanting back at home. I'm still chugging away at museum donations when I can. I'm hoping that Pirate helps me reel in more geodes and artifacts to make faster progress in this. Since I need both money and treasure, spending my evenings on the dock has become a regular routine for me. Speaking of money, I've been making a modest income on strawberry jelly, and I'm looking forward to swapping to melons. Summer 6. I chopped trees in the morning and spent my evening fishing, and I got some really good fishing loot today. A mining experience book worth 250 XP, a diamond, and another ancient seed. I'm really satisfied with the extra loot from Pirate. I also hit level 6 foraging today. Summer 7. There's some good money to be made in all the fish I stored up over the evenings, making a cool 10k. So today let's talk about my plan to make leveling foraging reasonable. The date's a bit random, but sometime in summer the green rain will hit the valley, and the consequence of that is that any immature trees will abruptly snap to fully grown, and I've already stored well over 100 tree seeds for planting. If I can get the farm cleared out before the green rain, I can plant and grow a ridiculous amount of trees to replace what I've chopped down, and that new forest should easily spread further if so many trees around to drop more seeds all over the place. My goal is to make like 80% of my farm become ridiculously overgrown. It's actually why I chose the standard farm in the first place. Making early progress would have been much easier on the Riverlands farm where you can reliably fish right next to a shipping bin, but you don't have very much space on that farm for trees. Summer 8. Just clearing up the farm today. I want more space for tree seeds, and stones on the farm drop geodes and coal here and there. I'll even use the stone, since I need 40 for each preserves jar. Summer 9 is my first rain in literal weeks. It's been ages. It's nice to not spend 3 hours in the morning watering my crops like every other day. I wish I had lightning rods, so I'm hoping lightning strikes don't take out my crops. They're possible to craft, but very expensive for me. I don't even know how I'd go get refined quartz right now without a recycling machine, which costs another iron bar I don't have since I can't refine my own quartz. It may have been worth doing enough bundles in the community center to unlock the vault where you can get a lightning rod as a reward. It's only one, but you'd have a source of battery packs if nothing else. Summer 10. I'm really looking forward to my first harvest of the summer. Money's been a bit tight. I think today will be the last day of farm cleanup before I start planting all the tree seeds I've banked. I've also started to accumulate a good few mystery boxes from chopping and fishing, and I keep finding geodes occasionally from treasure, so I feel like a big trip to Clint's is in order pretty soon. Summer 11. Time to plant trees. A lot of trees. I lost count, but I must have planted over 150 tree seeds today. And there's even more young trees and random seeds scattered around the farm, and still trees I didn't finish chopping since foraging work takes an eternity with a bad axe. Summer 12. Check out what the traveling cart has in stock for me. 5 battery packs for me to buy. That'll be a huge help if I'm ever going to gather the materials to reach Ginger Island, although, while this is very convenient, as I explained a few days ago, I could have gotten a free lightning rod out of the community center, so this really isn't required. I have so many fish stored up, but I never make it to the beach before Willie closes shop for the day, so I don't sell them that often. I hit level 7 foraging, so I'm good to craft tree fertilizer if I ever need more help after the green rain. Summer 13. The first melon harvest hit, which will make good money when jarred. I might need a few more jars to keep up with demand, so I'll stick down a few more and keep a chest down there filled with fruit waiting to queue into jars. I made sure to plant that second ancient seed while replanting my melons. Since I can't do much more foraging on the farm, I'll put a chest down in cinder sap and gather a few more tree seeds in preparation of the upcoming green rain. While there are a few dozen trees around to chop, I try not to come here as the trees are much less dense and further away from home, which is really inconvenient for me since my inventory isn't exactly very mobile, and it'll be annoying to take anything home with me. Summer 14. Blueberries have finally come in. I'll get 4 harvests out of these. I'm expecting to earn a lot of farming experience this season. I'm going to have some money on hand since I'm also going to cash out a big pile of fish at Willie's shop in addition to shipping those berries. Also on the schedule, I have so many geodes to crack open, both from rocks around the farm and from my slow but steady supply from fishing chests. I ended up with 6 new items to donate to the museum, but Clint closes the shop in a few minutes, so I'll donate the rest later. Hit level 8 farming today and sold 10k worth of berries, which wasn't even all of them since I forgot to ship some of the quality ones. Summer 15. The weather forecast for tomorrow is the green rain, so this is my last chance to gather tree seeds for the grand jungle I'm hoping will overtake my farm. I spent a while clear-cutting Cindersap Forest, then transported the seeds home for planting. I've probably planted over 200 tree seeds. Let's see if it all pays off. It's gonna get really overgrown very soon, so I should put down some paths to ensure I can actually walk through and get to the mushroom cave in the backwoods. I got some melon jelly to sell today, which is worth a good chunk of money every 2 to 3 days for the rest of summer. Summer 16. Green rain. Not all of them, but what looks like maybe 100 trees have suddenly grown on my farm. The weeds are temporary and will disappear tomorrow, but those large 2x2 weeds are valuable sources of foraging experience for me, since they grant 15 experience each, don't require stamina to cut down, and it only takes a few swings, unlike my trusty axe which takes 15 swings per tree. I'm planning to run around the whole map looking for large weeds, and it's probably worth gathering up all this fiber in case I need to craft tree fertilizer. There's a lot of ground to cover, so I spent my entire day doing this. Summer 17. Look at how many trees have covered my farm. That'll take weeks to take care of. Anyway, time to catch up on some various things, like those items I never donated to the museum. My collection isn't exactly large, but it's getting somewhere. I hit 35 items donated today. Summer 18. Clint had an easy delivery quest for a pike, and he's up to 7 hearts, but he hasn't mailed me metal in quite some time. Today, like many days before and many days to come, involves chopping during the day and fishing by night. I hit level 8 foraging today. That's a nice milestone. I'm actually getting somewhere, and the money is starting to roll in consistently from my crops. Summer 19. The trees being planted so densely makes it really easy to pick up the stuff after knocking down a dozen trees. I got some interesting items from mystery boxes. I've never gotten any hardwood until now, since I can't get into the secret woods or break down stumps and logs with my cardboard axe. I'm also pleased to get some free bombs because I can't make those yet. I'll get around to mining eventually, but I want a lot of spare cash for buying coal to make bombs, and I'm still busy making large purchases, like the bus repair for desert access. That'll be extremely useful later. I can not only pick up a galaxy sword, I'll eventually unlock the Skull Cavern, and Sandy sells deluxe speed grow I'll really want before fall. Found another treasure chest when fishing today. Summer 20. The Trout Derby starts today, and I will be participating. The fishing spot I picked out is a little tight, a few pixels up and my stuff drops in the water, and lower down won't let me cast out the rod since the game wants to interact with the fellow fisher instead. The reason I came here is because of these golden tags I can trade in for various rewards. I guess I'll wear this hat since I earned it. One of the rotating rewards in the list is a quality sprinkler, and we all know how hard it is for me to get my hands on any sprinklers at all. I didn't get enough golden tags on my first day here, so I'll come back tomorrow for the second half of the festival. Summer 21. I had better luck finding golden tags today, and by about 3 PM I claimed myself a precious quality sprinkler. It's possible to get more of these, but I'd have to cycle through the entire rewards list a second time, which isn't happening at this rate. I'd have much more success with a bait maker to hook more rainbow trout. Anyway, I have a chest loaded with fish, geodes, coal, and gemstones I'd love to take home, but I discovered something quite unfortunate. I can't bonk the chest across the wooden bridge, and I don't want to make 20 trips back and forth to transfer my stuff. I'll have to think of something. I'll just do farm chores for the rest of the day. Summer 22. I thought of something. It's actually very simple. I'll just place down another chest and transfer the contents over. This way I can bonk the new chest up north towards my farm. There's an easy monster slaying quest today, so I'll take a break and handle it. This is a great excuse to grab my prismatic shard out of the quarry and take it to the newly unlocked desert. The galaxy sword will make quick work out of basically any monster for the rest of the playthrough. Gave it a shot and it effortlessly one-shot any dust spray. Before I send my Trout Derby chest on its way home, I figured I could combine some storage here. I have a forest chest full of crap from the Green Rain and foraging training, plus a prize ticket to move, so I'll really load this bad boy up before I get moving. I took it up north, and while chests can't cross a transition to a different zone, I can just put a chest down on the farm, then run back and forth to transfer the full inventory of the chest. It's super annoying to do in real time, but gets done pretty fast in terms of the in-game clock. Summer 23. I got a gold bar in the mail from Clint. I can't remember the last time he mailed me something. This is really good news, since I'll want one to craft a seed maker so I can propagate ancient fruit, as I'll get my first harvest of that in a few days. It's been quite a journey, but I finally brought my chest of goodies all the way to my storage area. It's funny to think about how I set up a bunch of room for storage, as if I'd surround my workbench with 7 chests, but the reality of the situation is that it's kind of annoying to bring items all the way home, so I don't keep that much stuff here. I've got a ton of geodes to bring to Clint, so the next opening should be a good one. I've also got plenty of cash on hand from blueberry and melon sales, so I'll finally start investing in mining equipment, purchasing a stack of copper ore to craft into a big pile of cherry bombs, as I've barely touched mining and my combat level is even worse. Speaking of mining, the quarry has some of the gemstones I never got around to donating. I don't really get mid-tier gemstones or frozen geodes while fishing, as those are limited to shallower water and I prefer to go deep. Check this out, I went to put in a prize ticket, and look at that! 4 quality sprinklers. Eventually. I still need like 3 more tickets, which is going to be a while, but it does mean this whole questing journey wasn't just a waste of time. I can make tangible progress towards permanent upgrades to my farm. I got level 5 mining today. The miner profession is extremely good, but it's tricky for me specifically to take advantage of it, but I've got some ideas. I also sold a lot of stuff from the Trout Derby, so I recovered the money I spent today. Summer 24. I decided to clear out the quarry to see all that extra coal and ore drop on the ground from the miner profession. I then did some more geode cracking and donating, and I managed to add several items to my collection. I'm about 70% done at this point, but it's getting harder to find stuff. Summer 25. The promise of sprinklers via prize ticket has me very motivated to pick up and complete some quests. I already had yesterday's quest to fish up some red mullet, and I'll do today's quest and slay some slimes after I get this done. I have a bunch of fish to sell and a bunch of money, so I should finally pick up an iridium rod. I haven't bothered much with tackle since I don't have the inventory space to carry around spares, but there's a bunch of random dress spinners sitting in my fishing chests I've slowly accumulated from fishing loot, and it wouldn't hurt to use them up to speed up my fishing. Also on the shopping list for today, Sandy sells deluxe speed grow on Thursdays and it's pretty cheap. This will really come in handy for planting pumpkins in fall, which lets you get 3 harvests per season instead of 2, and I'd like to use it for growing ancient fruits as well. Summer 26. This is my final harvest of summer. Things have been much more lucrative than spring. I got something wonderful from the cart today, an iron bar. Look, those are really hard for me to get, okay? Please understand, this is my second one, ever. I caught the crimson fish today to try out my new iridium rod, now that I can use a trap bobber. Just for fun, really. I don't need it, but it would make a sick aquarium pet if I ever remember to do that. I knocked down a bunch of trees today, but barely made a dent in the forest. The top left corner of the farm is ridiculously thick. That's what I was aiming for, I suppose. Hit level 9 farming today, which is perfect timing since I can now craft seed makers and just harvested my first ancient fruit. I need somewhere to plant those. I'll pick up the greenhouse tomorrow, I suppose. Summer 27. Get this. Another iron bar. That's free. That means after a mere, 8 weeks on the farm, I can finally craft the bait maker I like to rush by day 4. Well, I'm still happy to have one. I'm just gonna chop wood today. The foraging grind truly never ends, and working on it is free, unlike, jumping into the mines of explosives. I took a break to go purchase the greenhouse, which I'll attempt to fill up with ancient fruit by the end of this video. We'll see how long it takes me to max up my skills and hit Ginger Island. I'm giving it a full year if needed, but if I'm only at the halfway point, I have a lot more work to do. I crafted a seed maker which I'll put to good use, and I spent the evening, you guessed it, chopping down trees. Summer 28. I've been eyeing the mines of my pile of explosives, waiting for a good luck day to appear for some time, but I've had a streak of unlucky days. Until now. Making progress in the mines is really important for unlocking higher experience opportunities to train mining and combat more efficiently. Plus, I do want to unlock the Skull Caverns. I took a break to have Robin go ahead and move my greenhouse to a more convenient location, then went back into the mines and hit an infested floor I can't handle. Damn. Those are really annoying for me. I had an idea though, and I went back to the mines later to try out a new mining method. The single cherry bomb. All I have to do is enter the mines with a single bomb in hand and hope to find a cluster of iron ore, as they occasionally spawn like that. If I don't find one, I'll just leave and re-enter until I do. This makes it possible to get resources out of the mines. If I brought my pickaxe in here instead, I'd have to void the thing for the entire day, just to keep one handful of ore. So I'm going to spend a while bombing out iron. This not only helps me raise my mining level to 6 for crafting bigger bombs, I'm also gathering the resources to make said bombs out of iron. Win-win. I think I finally have a good method to train this skill, and I also have the finances to afford coal for bomb crafting. I'll cap off summer by attending the festival of the Moonlight Jellies. It's relaxing and a good moment to spend on reflection. How far have I come since starting this ridiculous playthrough? Let's take a look at my skill levels. They're actually starting to get somewhere. Mining needs a lot of work and combat is, a bit dire, but foraging no longer feels like an insurmountable task like it did back in spring. And if you compare my skill levels to last month's, I think I made some pretty good progress overall. Money is nothing special, I made 250,000 gold so far, but it's starting to feel better every day I play. And I've got Clint up to 8 hearts, so hopefully I'll get semi-consistent letters in the mail. Fall 1. The crop for fall is gonna be pumpkins. Only pumpkins. Pumpkin pickles make great money, and I figure I'm well established to where I can just invest in more jars to handle the demand. And it's not a big deal if I run into winter with tons of pumpkins left to process, since it's hard to farm during winter. I got a quest to fish up 4 salmon, so I can give the bait maker a test run. It works pretty well. I only hooked salmon after switching the targeted bait, so this will be really good for fishing up catfish next time it rains, since catfish are also a fall fish. Anyway, I got a star drop tea for my prize ticket, so I can get Clint to 10 hearts pretty easily. Fall 2. I guess it's raining. Fall unlocks the weekly quest board, which is quite good for getting prize tickets. The regular bulletin board also has a catfish quest, and well, I was going to do that anyway. The weekly board is a lot trickier. I need to gather 100 monster drops. But I can't really do that without trashing whatever weapon I bring with me so I can pick up the loot. That's a lot of wasted swords. That being said, I'll take one of these quests to see if it's possible to complete one of my restrictions. Anyway, I can always use some more money, so I'm camping these catfish all day. I can't make insane money without a fish smoker or the angler profession, but it's still much more valuable than any fishing I've done up to this point. I can't even use smokers anyway, same reason I can't use a furnace. I sold 40 gold star catfish today, making 15k in one day's fishing, which is a big upgrade from before. Fall 3. Doing quests today. I've got a Dust Sprite slaying quest again, and seeing them drop coal reminded me that I should go buy some of that. I'll need a lot of it to craft bombs and jars. Heading back to the mines, I'm going to test the viability of collecting 100 bug meat for the weekly quest. I figure I can simply reload floors 15 and 25 until I see a large grouping of bugs, cut them down, then wastefully trash my sword so I can exit with the bug meat. The method works, but is it economically viable? I need more throwaway swords. I do have a solution. Wooden swords only cost 250 gold, so even if I need to buy 20 of them, I can afford it. Also, they're biodegradable, which is good because I'm about to do a lot of littering, and Lewis would probably find me if I were using single-use plastic. While the method does work, it's incredibly slow. It takes a bit to find a large grouping of bugs, and I need to run to the Adventurers Guild for a new sword every single time. But I did gather a third of the bug meat needed, so I'm going to commit to the task because I think it's funny to see this through and find ways to do normal Stardew Valley tasks with the one inventory slot. This got me to combat level 2. Long way to go. Fall 4. I made a bunch more jars to help with the pumpkins, but I'll still need more than this. I gave Clint some gifts today, bringing him to a full 10 hearts. Great. Please mail me more stuff. This is a purely transactional relationship. I spent more or less the entire day gathering bug meat while shedding swords left and right like stray pine needles. Hilariously, I'm still not done. This isn't the best use of my time, but it is a funny use of my time. Fall 5. Got another gold bar. I guess Clint heard my plea. I can make extra seed makers if I end up with a ton of ancient fruit, and I've got a modest little start going in the greenhouse. I've come this far, so I spent a few more hours in the mines to finish up the 100 bug meat quest, then ran that down to the docks to turn it in. Weekly quests always award a prize ticket, so I'm really close to those 4 quality sprinklers I've been chasing. I made some more mines progress, making it down to floor 60 with my remaining cherry bombs. I figured I could easily do floors 61 to 65 with the 10 regular bombs I got from mystery boxes, but I got unlucky and it was a total waste. But it's not so bad, because I hit level 6 mining today, so I can finally craft my own bombs and make a bunch more with all the iron ore I've been storing up. Also level 3 combat, I guess? Fall 6. Great luck today, so it's time to buy a pile of coal, make a bunch of bombs, and start crushing mines progress. Things went really well today. I finally got to make an extended block of progress without getting walled by an infested floor, clearing the iron floors and breaking through to the gold floors, making 30 floors of progress ending at floor 90 when I was too low on bombs to continue. It's a bit expensive to fund all the bombs, but I'm finally making some real headway through the mines. Fall 7. If I do a really easy quest, I can get that last prize ticket I need. It did take me a few minutes to go find Lewis, but I finally claimed my bounty of 4 quality sprinklers. I'll place them down after my first pumpkin harvest on the 10th. I'm looking forward to less daily watering. Otherwise, I spent the entire day chopping trees, working my way through this dense corner of the farm. There's a crazy amount of saplings around to where I can barely even walk. My gambit to plant insane numbers of trees is paying off, since this area will automatically replenish itself with a ton of new trees even though I'm clear-cutting all the mature trees. Level 9 foraging today. Just one more level. But it's a really long level, since it takes 10,000 out of 15,000 experience to hit level 9, so, well, I'm only 2/3 of the way there. My god, this is a lot of effort to do by hand. Fall 8. Metal bars are common enough now that I'll stop mentioning them since I don't have any further game changers like the bait maker. I probably don't need to do more prize tickets either, but I think that trash fishing quest is genuinely quite easy for me as I'm often fishing regardless. Hey, speaking of fishing, I need money for coal and seeds and I can't get catfish without rain, so we're gonna try out tiger trouts. These are actually pretty good. 150 gold is a reasonably high base value for a fish of good availability. I can sometimes get a perfect catch, and even if they stop showing up at 7 PM, I can just schedule my farm chores for the evening instead of the morning. Fall 9. I need to buy stuff today. I'll start with more pumpkin seeds to plant tomorrow. I need more cash, but I have a bunch of tiger trout I can sell. All this money is for the traveling bookseller, who has foraging experience books on sale, a luxury I can afford these days. These are worth 250 EXP each, so I got an easy 500 from these, equal to about 31 trees. He also offers trade-ins, exchanging books for items, and this would be really useful as a way to get items like hardwood or monster musk, but I tested, and the trade-in system will not work if your inventory is full. even if you should be able to swap item for item. Same problem occurs with the Desert Merchant. It's a big shame. There's a bunch more coal and such in the quarry, so I'll grab that, and while I'm mining, I'll use my other bombs to get some iron from the mines as well. Fall 10. Pumpkins are in. Very excited to jar these, but I'll consider saving the pumpkin pickles until I hit 10 farming, as the artisan profession is a massive boost to sales. I'm probably really close to level 10 farming, so it won't be long. I can put down my new sprinklers now, which is a big deal for me. Fall 11. Today's a good luck day and I'd like to go mining, but I only have 15 bombs, so I spent them all gathering iron, then went back home to craft over 40 more bombs. Now I can start making some real progress. I blasted my way down from 90 to 100, finally earning my very first star drop. Yeah, it took me over half a year, but I'll take one. Progressing deep floors can be very dangerous without food or a weapon, with quarry-style haunted floors being particularly dangerous. Things got pretty bad down there. By floor 109 I was almost out of bombs and hit an infested floor to boot, so I'm coming back later to get the rest of this done. I bombed out a lot of iron and gold ore today, so here's level 7 mining. Fall 12. When doing a fishing day, buying coal for mining is sucking all the money out of my wallet, and I never did finish that weekly quest for 20 pieces of trash. If you ever get this quest and want to finish it quickly, just go to floor 100 of the mines. You'll get trash 90% of the time. I can't bring this with me to submit for the quest, but it's okay to meet requirements by fishing up 20 new pieces of trash, but turning in some old trash from storage. Fall 13. Today is the very first time I can seriously train combat. There's an infested floor on floor 101, which means I can navigate there without a pickaxe or bombs, so I can actually bring a weapon. Plus, monsters down here are worth much more experience than weaker ones higher up in the mines. Void spirits, lava bats, and squid kids are all worth 15 EXP, and the others are a bit less. You can find some really valuable drops if you get lucky, but I can't bring anything with me because I am not trashing my only galaxy sword. So I had to just throw away a lucky prismatic shard. I also had to throw away an entire iridium bar. Good drop luck definitely feels like a curse when you're not allowed to keep the stuff. Regardless, I did gain a bunch of combat experience, jumping up to level 4, then level 5, and probably some extra credit on the way to level 6. Fall 14 was mostly spent moving items. I had to bring trash to the railroad to finish the trash fishing quest, I need to go store geodes and mystery boxes from fishing over at Clint's, and I also need to bring fish home to sell, keeping 9 for a secret purpose I'll get back to soon. And I generally just want to sell various bits and pieces like diamonds because I'm kinda broke until level 10 farming hits and makes me rich. I did sell 10k worth of stuff on top of doing my chores though, which isn't bad. Fall 15. I only ever get geodes and magma geodes from fishing, never frozen geodes, and I'm sick of not having the museum done, so I've got a plan. I'll gather iron ore like normal for resources and experience, but if I happen to coincidentally get a frozen geode, I'll pass on the iron and take the geode with me. Besides mining, I can also start regularly training combat now that I've made so much mines progress. The strategy is to use the elevator to scout floors 85, 95, and 105 for Void Spirits. Void Spirits give great EXP for how easy they are to take down, and killing 150 of them will unlock the wonderful Savage Ring, which will make all further combat training much more efficient by covering more ground. This earned me good experience in both skills, hitting level 8 mining, which unlocks Mega Bombs if I can source the materials for this, and also level 6 combat. Not bad. Fall 16. Today is the Stardew Valley Fair, and I would like to attend to get myself another star drop. Normally you're meant to bring 9 various items to fill out the grand display to win a prize, but I can't hold 9 different items, so I brought 9 fish. That's all I got, man, just judge it. So it turns out it's really easy to earn first place. What do you mean that was 100 points? You only need 90 to win. That gives 1,000 tokens, but that's not enough to buy everything, so I'm going to wager about 40% of my tokens per spin at the wheel, since it's rigged to land on green most of the time, and if you don't go all in, you're almost guaranteed to make a bunch of tokens real fast. I'll buy myself the star drop and the prize ticket, even though to be honest, I'm not expecting much out of prize tickets at this point, but if I want to keep doing quests, the Ectoplasm quest is very much something I can complete easily with one inventory slot. Fall 17. So to help finish out getting minerals from geodes, Sandy sells a few Omni geodes on Wednesdays. It's not a lot, but it's hard for me to get these. I've got a whole buffet of geodes to crack open. Regular, frozen, magma, Omni, let's get to it. I spent like 10 weeks slowly working on donations, and I'm going to finish my goal in one final burst of new minerals. I'm finally free. That's 60 donated items. I can access the sewers now. Well, tomorrow. I spent the rest of the day training mining and combat. Fall 18. I plan to save these all for level 10 farming, but I need money for shopping tomorrow, so I'll sell a few of my pumpkin pickles. Anyway, I'll go knock out that ectoplasm quest, which I would have finished almost immediately, but I forgot that I'd rather not trash my galaxy sword, so I had to go kill 10 more ghosts with a more disposable weapon to go find another ectoplasm. Fall 19. Big pumpkin harvest, including a real fat one there to the left. I hit level 10 farming, that's my second skill to level 10, and I can claim the artisan profession overnight and start getting filthy rich. I need to buy another set of seeds, of course, but that's not all. I can go to the sewers now, and on Fridays, I can buy an iridium sprinkler, once per week. This is completely game-changing, and it's a shame I hit level 10 farming before my first iridium sprinkler, but you can see why I spent so long on the museum. Iridium sprinklers are 3 times as good as quality sprinklers, and going forward, it's possible to expand farming to a scale that previously seemed entirely unreasonable for one inventory slot. Krobus is good for much more than just sprinklers. I can buy 10 essences each per day, which I'll store in a chest in the sewers. These are normally obtained through combat, but I can't easily gather them the normal way. But if I buy a bunch of them, I'll be able to mass craft mega bombs, another substantial upgrade to mining. And farming gold ore is worth 50% more mining experience than iron ore nodes. It's a win-win, and the essences are no more expensive than buying coal would be for normal bombs. I turned in a few prize tickets. A couple cherry bombs are helpful, but I'm kinda over it when it comes to the prize machine. Anyway, level 10 farming like I mentioned. I have 50k worth of pumpkin pickles waiting to sell now that I have artisan, and a lot more pumpkins awaiting processing. Fall 20. Let's sell my bounty of pickles for a fat stack of gold and invest in some materials to make more jars. I'll need a lot more coal, so I'll pick up a ton of that. I have plenty of wood, of course, I chop trees all the time, but I do struggle to gather my own stone, so I'll drop 20k on a full stack of stone. Now I can make a bunch of jars, and I'll clear out some space to drop those down on the farm. I've got almost 50 jars now, which should be plenty for my current farm size. I noticed my pumpkins were done minutes before 2 AM, and I barely managed to gather up the pickles and slam a new set of pumpkins into the machines before passing out. Fall 21. I'm starting to build up a nice little colony of ancient fruit in the greenhouse, and I can buy weekly sprinklers to keep up with demand. I don't think I'll play into year 2 or anything, but you can see the beginnings of an endgame brewing here. Pumpkin pickles are worth so much money, and now I'm processing batches about twice as big as this one. I've always got ways to spend it though. I still have regular old iron ore to craft into bombs, and I can also use coal to make more seed makers for my ancient fruit. Speaking of bombs, I was using some I had lying around to gather gold ore, since I want to make a mega bomb crafting station in the sewers. I've got a good chunk of gold and some essences, I just need to add a crafting workbench, so I'll bring the one I had from home and make myself some high power explosives. I can buy a new bench tomorrow for the farm. I'm all set to blast through some more mines progress, with a good handful of regular and mega bombs waiting to be used here in my chest by the mines elevator. Fall 22. I've replaced my missing workbench with a new one, then ran to the mines with the goal of reaching floor 120 today. Progress was easy and fast, but I do have one concern. All monsters permanently get stronger once you hit bottom and pick up the skull key, so I might want to finish my grind for the Savage Ring before I make it a bit more difficult. I've already made a lot of headway towards that goal, so by around 8:30 I finished up and stopped by the Adventurers Guild to pick up my prize before returning to the mines to grab the skull key. This unlocks access to the Skull Caverns, which is where I plan to finish my grinds for mining and combat experience. We'll start testing it out tomorrow. Level 7 combat and level 9 mining today. I'm starting to get pretty close to the goal of maxing out all skills. Fall 23. Today is the first rain in like 3 weeks? I think I also said that during summer. Normally I get all excited and hop on the catfish, but you know, at this point the farming money is getting so good I don't need it. I'm also past caring about treasure loot. Fishing income does scale well, but you need fish smokers and stuff I can't use. I'm going to run back and forth and set up a nice chest full of goodies at the entry door to the Skull Cavern. The cavern is really good experience for a couple reasons. 1. High experience enemies like these big slimes. 2. Time moves slower in the Skull Caverns compared to any other location, giving you 25% more time to do stuff. And 3. The exit and entry takes no time at all compared to the mines where you need to walk from the ladder back to the elevator. It's nearly instantaneous to reload the cavern rapidly to scout for monsters for combat experience, or gemstones for mining experience. Combat's easy and fast, so I'll test mining as well. Turns out mining is super dangerous. I can't defend myself from serpents. At least I can't lose items when I'm not holding any items to begin with. Fall 24. It's around now I was suddenly gripped by the realization that I might be able to max out all my skills, not in 1 year, but in fact, before the end of fall. The Skull Cavern changes everything for mining and combat. If I spend every day in the cavern, could I finish everything under this new tight deadline? Let's try. Serpents and big slimes are worth 20 experience, and the tiny slimes that pop out of the big boys are 10 each. If a serpent drops a spicy eel, I can eat it for a speed boost, and I've got my savage ring for even more walk speed to make resetting the floor super fast. I went on an absolute tear today, taking out over 100 monsters. I even had to ignore a couple of radium bar drops from purple slimes. I hit level 8 combat and then some, since I got almost 3,000 combat experience in a single day. Fall 25. I can't go to the desert until 10 AM when Pam shows up to work, but it buys me some time to chip away at foraging experience. There are an insane number of partially grown trees everywhere, so I always have something to chop down. I was expecting to need tree fertilizer to have enough chopping material, but dedicating my entire farm into this overgrown jungle has made it very self-sufficient. It's Thursday, so I'll pick up some more deluxe speed grows so I have enough to fill the entire greenhouse. And while I'm doing chores and have extra cash, I may as well finish buying the Joja catalog. It's been some time, but that's another major progression milestone knocked out before the end of fall. The rest of the day was spent on combat training, and I rammed straight through to level 9 combat. Things are moving fast now. Fall 26. Fall is almost over, but all my skills are level 9 or 10. The last level's the longest one, but I can get this done. It's Friday, so I'll grab my weekly Iridium Sprinkler. Having access to these feels like an impossible luxury compared to how I spent all my time manually watering crops. More combat training today, but I did get overzealous and surrounded by slimes and thought I could maybe take one more hit, which, well, I couldn't. You actually do need to pay attention when you don't have access to food to heal up while fighting. Fall 27. My ancient fruit expansion in the greenhouse is speeding up, since several are fully grown and producing by now. Anyway, it's time to finish training my combat skill. I still need to max combat, foraging, and mining, so it's going to be a close call. At around 7:30, I took out one last slime and got myself to level 10 combat. I'm kind of shocked that this was my third skill to completion. I spent over half a year of essentially zero combat experience and then rapidly slammed it out in the back half of fall out of nowhere. So I need to finish training up mining, really quickly, and my old methods aren't fast enough. The Skull Cavern is very good at this though. Even if I can't deep dive for iridium ore, I can very rapidly reload floor 1 to scan for gemstones or clusters of gold ore, and just like leveling combat, I benefit from time moving slower here. Diamonds are worth a massive 150 experience, rubies and emeralds are worth 80, and gold ore is worth 18. All I need to do is scan for high-end gemstones or clusters of ore. Since I don't exactly have infinite bombs to work with, it's important that I earn a lot of experience per bomb, or I'll run out before I hit level 10 mining. I have 36 bombs, so I won't budge for less than 80 EXP per use. It takes a while to scout out the good mining opportunities, but I averaged around 3 bombs an hour and used up half my stock. I can use the rest tomorrow and finish this up with time to spare, hopefully. Fall 28. One last sprint to see if I can max out my skills before winter. I know I can finish mining, the method's very good, but what about foraging? I've been working diligently on it here and there, but how close am I really? Foraging is a very slow skill for me to train since it takes so long to down each tree. Guess I'll get chopping. I won't bother picking up all the stuff. I don't have time and it's kind of overkill at this point, I've got plenty. In fact, you get more experience for felling a tree, and only a little for clearing the stump, so I shouldn't bother with stumps either. I very much did not finish foraging by the mid-afternoon, but if I don't take the bus now, I'll never get to go to the desert today to finish mining. I don't know if I can make it, to be honest. Let's use up these bombs and get mining to level 10 at least, and we'll see how we're doing on time afterwards. Plenty of experience available. I was really happy of how many diamonds I found, but by the time I used that final bomb, I did not hit level 10 mining. I'm probably inches away from finishing. Time for a backup strategy. Sprinting through a dark thunderstorm in the dead of night, I started furiously breaking anything I could find in the quarry, and I did it. I hit level 10 mining in time, my 4th skill to max, but there's still only 3 hours left in the day, and I didn't finish foraging. But the day isn't over until it's over. Cold, wet, and exhausted and stumbling in the dark, I knocked down tree after tree in a desperate bid to finish leveling my last skill. I wish I'd kept my glow ring instead of putting on a lucky ring I found in the caverns. I checked my skill levels every few trees, and by 1 AM, I was done. I maxed out every skill with one inventory slot and completely unupgraded tools. A full season ahead of my original plan to finish this within my first year. Winter 1. I may have maxed out my skills, but I still have one more major milestone to knock out in my first year before I celebrate victory. I want to step foot on the shores of Ginger Island. I've barely talked about this because it wasn't practical until just now. Maxing out my skills has opened up new doors for me. This is because I still need to gather the materials to repair Willie's boat. I've got the 5 battery packs on hand, but I also need 5 iridium bars and 200 hardwood, and I haven't had a consistent way to get hardwood for months, since my bottom tier axe can't break stumps or logs, nor access the secret woods to find mahogany seeds. But level 10 foraging means I can take the lumberjack profession and finally gather hardwood myself. I'll need to stop by the sewers to redo my foraging professions, since way back at level 5 I went down the gathering branch rather than the forester branch, which prevented me from taking lumberjack. So if it's possible to get hardwood now, what's the plan for iridium bars? I've seen them before as rare drops from purple slimes and void spirits, so I could gather them one by one via combat, but I have to throw away my sword every single time I get an iridium bar, and I don't exactly have 5 galaxy swords to spare. Instead, I have another plan. I'm going to fish for iridium bars. That sounds ridiculous, but maxing out all my skills opens up the skill mastery system, and fishing mastery unlocks new golden treasure chests with enhanced loot, and one of the possible finds is a handful of 1 to 5 iridium bars. That's a jackpot right there. So I need to earn 10,000 points of experience across any of my 5 skills to unlock my first mastery, and judging by how training went, mining is probably the fastest, as I can earn thousands of experience per day if I have enough bombs. So where can I get my hands on more explosives? I'd like to test a method I haven't tried yet. I can purchase explosive ammunition for the slingshot directly from the Adventurers Guild, bypassing the need to gather materials and craft my own stuff. They have a small explosion compared to proper bombs, but maybe it's worth trying since it's so easy to get ammunition. I ended up really disliking this method. You need a nearby enemy or a wall to target the rocks you want to blow up, so I felt a bit limited by the awkwardness of the slingshot. It took me longer to find rocks to blast, and the small blast meant I earned less experience per shot. The slingshot's speed and instant feedback make for a fantastic pair for bombs in situations it excels at, but it's a bit frustrating if it's your only method. I got about a sixth of the mastery points I needed over 6.5 hours, which isn't bad, but I think mega bombs could do the job twice as fast, easily. Winter 2. Instead of worrying about mastery for now, I think I'll gather up 200 hardwood, accumulating bits of foraging experience as I go, and buy myself a few days to buy essence from Krobus for a big stack of mega bombs to finish out my first mastery. Lumberjack is a bit random. Sometimes I get 0 pieces of hardwood, sometimes I get a couple. I average about 1.1 hardwood per tree, and since I started with 20 hardwood from mystery boxes, I needed to knock down about 165 trees to get all the hardwood I needed. It takes a long time to chop that many trees with the worst possible axe, so this took days. I only managed to get 51 hardwood on my first day chopping. Winter 3. Time to continue my mass deforestation. It's a good thing I had such a ridiculous excess of trees on the farm, because every single one is going to need to come down to fuel my need for hardwood. I earned myself 41 more pieces of hardwood, which means I'm halfway done, but I had other chores to attend to, like my pumpkin pickles. Winter 4. Third day of chopping, and I still have trees on the farm, if you can believe it, particularly in the lower left corner that's the furthest spot on the farm away from my house. I should take shopping breaks since I do want to craft more mega bombs soon, and while I'm here and floating a bunch of money I don't need anymore, I'll treat myself to a star drop to make the remaining chopping just a little bit easier. Winter 5. Look how well the ancient fruits are coming along. The sprinklers are a bit of a mess, but the weekly iridium sprinkler purchase does mean I could clean it up later. Back outside, I was picking up drops from yesterday, which includes a nice EXP book. A convenient little bonus helped me reach my first point of mastery. Time to chop the last few trees here on the farm. If I kept playing into year 2, I'd still end up with new trees growing all over thanks to the seeds and saplings dotting every corner of the farm. It's a bit celebratory at this point rather than practical, but I did pick up my weekly iridium sprinkler today. Between these and my rapidly expanding ancient fruit, I can take over not just the greenhouse, but also the Ginger Island farm, even if I'd have to plant in between the logs, stumps, and rocks I can't remove. It took me 4 days of straight chopping to clear cut my entire farm, and I didn't even get 200 hardwood. I only have 190. I'll have to get the rest somewhere else. It's been slow, but I have gained a few thousand points of mastery over the last 4 days, so I'm halfway towards that goal. Winter 6. I went to Cindersap to get the last 10 hardwood I needed, then brought a big stack of wood to the boat to submit for the hull repair. Just one more item needed, the iridium bars. On my way to fetch my axe from Cindersap and return it home, I stopped by the hat store. I'm kind of sick of the bucket hat I've worn for the last 6 weeks, so I decided to buy myself a blue hat since it's my favorite color, even if it looks a little silly worn backwards. I need to finish earning a point of mastery, so it's time to craft up a big stack of bombs to bring to the desert. We're starting at more or less exactly at the halfway point, so let's see how quickly I can earn 5,000 mastery points. 50 bombs should be just enough to do it. I spent the next 9 hours blasting high experience rocks and got most of the way there, averaging roughly 390 experience per hour using this method, and I still have 22 bombs left over, so I'm in great shape. On Winter 7, I tried the normal mines for a few hours before the morning bus trip, but it's much worse in the Skull Caverns since I need to walk back and forth to the elevator to reset the floor, and time moves at normal speed, so I simply went to the desert and finished the job. Time to go claim my fishing mastery. Golden treasure chests are much rarer than normal treasure, with about 1 in 4 boxes turning gold with average daily luck. They're quite likely to reward multiple pieces of loot per box, and the rate of hitting iridium bars is about 7% per attempt, so I might need to spend several days fishing, but I've got all winter to get it done. I don't mind hunkering down and grinding this out. I have a lot of motivation this close to the finish line. An hour into fishing and I already found my first golden box. Let's see what's inside. What? Okay, so this isn't supposed to be that easy. I'm not on a strict timer here. I gave myself the full year to hit all my goals for this playthrough, but like, wow, I am not complaining. Let's keep fishing. Okay, so that's ridiculous. I don't know, man. Whatever. Winter 8. I wanted to submit my 5 iridium bars today, but Willie's shop is closed. Apparently, it's a festival of ice. So even though I got those iridium bars really fast, I did have all of today and half of tomorrow to fish, and I still would have finished at exactly the same time, so getting those bars instantly didn't even really speed things up. Winter 9, the final boat repair. All I need to do is sleep and wait for the boat to get fixed up. Winter 10, vacation time. That's all my major goals completed in my first year. I maxed out my skills, reached Ginger Island, and I even managed to make headway towards starting an ancient fruit empire, all with 1 inventory slot. I'm quite happy to end this playthrough here. I'm proud of what I accomplished, and I don't think pushing further would be nearly as interesting without distinct goals and milestones to chase. I'd just be expanding my ancient fruit and watching numbers go up. The only genuinely interesting thing I didn't explore is the hopper, an endgame Ginger Island item that would allow me to use a furnace, but in a world where I still can't upgrade my tools and I can just buy iridium sprinklers, I don't even think I'd care about obtaining my first reliable source of metal. All I'd do with that metal is probably craft kegs and make money just to make money. Thanks for watching to the end of this experimental and very difficult challenge. It's funny that it took 1 inventory slot that forced me to play Stardew Valley at a normal pace, and I'm sure it was faster than many casual playthroughs. Please don't compare your own progress to my psychopathic behavior, and simply join me in enjoying Stardew Valley in whatever form that takes. That's all from me for now. See you next video. Cheers.